what would you say are the most possible reasons for payroll non-compliance in Australia?
Thanks, Pooja. So I think there are quite a lot of reasons. I'm happy to touch base on some of them. So the main ones, for example, is your lack of knowledge about your EBAs, your awards, and the local legislation, right? So it is critical that your SMEs have absolute great knowledge about those, because that's how you design your system. So from designing the system, I guess the second step is, once you know the compliance requirements, your EBA requirements, it is critically important to design the system correctly. Because if your information is misunderstood, then probably that's where the error could occur as well. So incorrect master data setup, sometimes employees been set up in the systems for a long time and probably no one has had an opportunity to look into it. So that's where things could go wrong. Failure to capture the correct hours, so that is another critical one, because these days we are highly relying on to our timesheet solutions. So obviously it is critical that employees understand how to capture the hours, how to record the hours, and it is equally important that our managers also review those hours before they actually approve. So I think there is definitely going to be a little bit effort required from the organizations to train up their employees and managers on that side. Not having the dedicated compliance resources, right? So that is equally, because we all have payroll operations team, and obviously their focus is, to get the payroll out of the way, and they're so attend to that piece that probably we haven't allowed them sufficient time to stay up to date with the local legislative. I think we're going to find some times to do that as well. Receptive, right? So sometimes we do reactive actions rather than proactive. So when we find a problem, that's when we try to go and find a solution. Whereas if we try to be proactive, we do a wage type compliance, we do whether our wage types are behaving correctly, whether they are accruing super taxation penalties. I think it could save us for a long time as well. Look, I strongly believe in 5 Ps. The proper planning prevents poor performance. So if we take accountability, I guess it can definitely help you for a longer time, and it could mitigate some of those risks from compliance perspective.
Just to add quickly on what Rohit was saying, I think that the planning is really important, and that upfront planning is very important, but I think it's that maintenance throughout the life cycle. So we've seen a lot of organizations do a great job initially when they do implement a new system, but then what structures do they have in place within their business to maintain that compliance as time moves, as the instruments move, and keeping that at the forefront of your mind. I think that maintenance is key, and maybe sometimes in the past, given that these are such big projects to actually implement a payroll system, you get a bit of implementation fatigue, and then you forget about it, and you forget that maintenance piece. But I think focusing on that maintenance as well, it just needs to be at the forefront of your mind.